Predator 212 on a 110 quad. I think it was a couple years ago now. And the bike runs pretty good, or the quad runs pretty good. But the only thing is, the Predator 212 pulls it pretty fast, and it's kind of sketchy at speed. I mean, this thing is super narrow. I mean, these quads are just narrow and small. So the Predator kind of pulls this thing fast for what it is. And then over the last couple years, it's been sitting on the side of the house, and I keep pulling parts off of it to fix other stuff. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put it back together. And then to make it a little bit more stable, hopefully, maybe make it like a flat track kind of vehicle, I'm gonna throw some 5-inch racing kart wheels on there. So I have these wheels off the CRG kart. So these are the fronts. Well, these were actually the backs, but these would be the fronts on the quad. And then I got the rear wheels, which are wider for the back. And then I picked up these hubs that bolt to the CRG wheels and then hopefully will fit on the quad. So these are the fronts. And then you got the splined hubs for the back. And I'm pretty sure these are the right ones to fit on there. I think these will bolt right on here. Yeah, so the bolt pattern lines up. And this will definitely widen out the rear end on this thing and lower it down. Hopefully my sprocket doesn't hit, which it might. So I might have to put the smaller sprocket back on there. I mean, they might be too low for it. Possibly. We'll see. I gotta put a driver driven back on here that I robbed off of this thing. I'm gonna have to clean out this carburetor because this thing's been setting. So I'm sure this thing is all clogged up, pilot jet. So to fix this first issue, I have a driven that I picked up on Amazon, which will be good enough. I mean, so this engine only has a billet rod, a Mod 2 cam with 22-pound springs, and then a VM22. Then I got the Juggernaut, so that should help it out. Throw this driver driven setup on here. And we throw the old Juggernaut on here. So let's see if these spindles will work on here. Yeah, I'm not sure if these all these quads have pretty much the same size bearing, these little 110 quads. Okay, it looks like the bearings are the same size. So the thing is I might have to do it without the with the drum brake setup on there, because it has rear brakes. But I'm not sure how I'm going to adapt these front brakes on here. Because I can pull those off and just run the wheel itself. No problem. Oh yeah. I mean, who needs brakes anyway? Brakes are overrated. So if I want to run the spindle the right way, that way, so the wheel will be hub-centric on the hub, I'm going to have to grind these out or bevel these out a little bit because they are slightly too small. This hub is just a fraction too big. I mean, it almost fits in there. I mean, just barely. Nothing my burr can't fix. So I got one of them to fit with the burr, and this one here I'm going to try it with a file. And I think this will work just as good, maybe even better. So it seems like the file works even better, or a little bit faster. So now let me see if I got them hub-centric. I'll know if I got them centered if my bolts still line up. So hopefully here, we'll see if my bolts line up. Oh yeah, perfect. I mean, it's such a small amount you have to take out of there. I mean, you really can't mess it up as long as you just go try to be even. Oh yeah, that thing fits in there nice. Perfect. Nice and centered. Okay, so that'll work. And And then it gives me enough room for the nut and then the cotter pin. There we go. So we have the CRG rear wheel with the front hub, but then I have some actual front wheels with the 17mm bearing, the same bearing, and they fit right on here too. So you don't even really need the front hub. They're a little bit more narrow, but that's okay. So I could either run those or the nice wide ones. I think I'll throw the wide ones on there for right now. But at least I have some spares. So we got the front. It looks pretty sweet. And it lowered it down pretty good, but it's got decent ground clearance. So you got the front wheels off of there, and then the drum brake set up. I mean, who needs brakes anyway? Just more weight. So now I'll pop these rears off here, and hopefully the splines are right on those hubs. Okay, so I think this is a 23. Yep, goes right on there. So that'll work. Throw my hub on the wheel. Definitely some deep wheels. So these should widen this thing out. Because I was gonna throw a 32-inch axle on here. I think this one's a 28. But I might not need to. Because as wide as these wheels are dished, or offset. So before, the rear wheels were inboard more than the front. So we'll see if that changes now with these offset wheels, which it does. So that's cool. So the back wheels are out farther than the front now. So that'll work. Just wondering how much ground clearance I'll have with this stuff. It's not going to be much. So everything fit on there is surprisingly straightforward and easy, and I do have a little bit of ground clearance on that sprocket. So I probably have, I don't know, like an inch or so under here. So it'll be good enough. Unless I ride in some hardcore dirt, I think it'll be fine on the asphalt. And it's cool that the back tires are out just a little bit more than the front. And another thing that I did notice, without the dirt tires on here, this thing weighs a lot less. It's definitely a lot lighter. With the flat track setup. So now to get this thing running, I think I'm gonna have to clean the jets in this carb for sure, because this thing's been set in a long time with that ethanol and that gas. And then I need to pull this blower housing off of here because I robbed the flywheel. Yep. Oh good, at least I left the cup on here. And then the nut for the crankshaft. And I'll have to throw a flywheel key in here, or at least move the flywheel forward without a key, just to add some timing. While I'm waiting on a flywheel, I might as well clean out this pilot jet, because I know it's has to be clogged. Oh yeah, looks like varnish and smells like varnish. Let's see if this pilot jet's clogged. Yep, sure enough. Ah, there we go. Now I can see through it. Blast some through the passages on here. So I got this lightweight pressure cast flywheel for a Hemi, and I think it only has around 18 degrees timing. And then the billet flywheel that I took off had 32, so I'm gonna have to definitely add some timing to this. And right now I only have an 8-degree flywheel key. So if you look at the 8-degree key, it's about what, 4 millimeters? I mean, give or take. So that's the entire key. And then if you go and measure the 8-degree part, 1.89, 1.9. So I could go ahead and install this without a key easily, or I'll make my own key with another stock key and I might grind it to, I don't know, about 1.7, 1.6. And that should give me, what, about 10 or 12 degrees advance. And that'll be more into the ballpark with an 18-degree flywheel. Okay, that's what we have here. All right, so that ought to work. About what, 1.65? Oh, 1.55, okay. So that ought to be what, about 12 degrees advanced or so, give or take. Throw a little valve grinding compound. Clean off my surface. Throw on my homemade 12-degree key. Even though I don't actually need a key, I could just put it on there and mark it and move it forward. It's nice having a key on there because the key will lock the flywheel where it can't go forward anymore. So you can't overdo it. So it makes a good reference. So there's 12 degrees, there's stock. There's 12, there's stock. And I'll torque this thing down to about 56 because it's not billet, so I just torque it to the stock spec. And then the coil, I usually set it to about 30 with one of these because it doesn't have rare earth magnets. So she's pretty much ready to go. And I'm not sure about the gear ratio. I might have to add a higher gear to this. And I'll probably do it by adding a bigger sprocket to the driven side of the torque converter. I mean, that'd be a lot easier than trying to add a smaller sprocket to the back. Yeah, it runs nice and quiet with that exhaust on there. We've got this stock exhaust pipe. Thing tops out quick. It's good for doing burnouts, but it doesn't have any gear. They make a great flat track vehicle. They've already topped out right there. Well, definitely got to throw some gear on this. Well, this thing is definitely a lot more fun lowered down like this, and it's got a quick gear ratio. It could use some of those flat track off-road tires. So next time around, I think I'll add some gear to this thing. I think it'd make it a lot more fun. So I might add a bigger sprocket to the driven side of the torque converter instead of swapping out the rear sprocket. So check out the full build video on this quad here or here.